Watchmen is the name of a comic book fully released back in 1987, the story being a satirical take on superheroes. Look, this was back before The Boys and Invincible came out. Give Alan Moore a break. A deep conspiracy story filled with smaller moral questions was the focus. If the ends of a horrible act justify the means if it saves lives, what the ability to do everything would do to a man's psyche, at what point does an evil person draw the line, and is it morally correct to eat cold beans? If you know anything about this channel, you know I'm going to touch on none of it. Rather, I'm here to examine the feats of a character I haven't mentioned yet. Rorschach. Rorschach, also known as Walter Kovacs, is an anti-hero that I'm willing to bet most people know because of this.
It's so sad Steve Jobs died of ligma.
Who the hell is Steve Jobs?
Ligma balls.
More than that, he is a detective/crime fighter that was inspired by the philosophy of objectivism, described as the concept of a man as a heroic being, with his own happiness as the moral purpose of his life, with productive achievement as its noblest activity and reason as its only absolute. Notably an ideology Alan Moore went on record for saying was laughable. This would inspire many parts about his character, but importantly for now, his iconic mask, detailed after a Rorschach test, showing how he sees the world in his own absolutes, black and white. On top of that, he was used to explore what Batman's vengeance would look like in a real person. Speaking of real people, I'm one of those, and much like Alan Moore, I too have a question. What would Rorschach look like in the real world? And more so, how hard would it be to do what he does? For this video, I'm going to be focusing on the main comic and the movie adaptation, even if it's not the most accurate representation. First and foremost, how he fights. Rorschach is very good at hand-to-hand combat, able to fight several foes at once, which requires at least a good understanding of boxing and its footwork, along with grapple escape techniques that can be found in any myriad of fighting styles. Regardless, how is it to fight even one person in this getup and mask? As I've said before, me not know how fight good, no time take boxing class. With that out of the way, I have two complaints. The hat likes to move a lot while I'm hitting, which I admit is my fault for leaning into my punches more than I probably should, and more than Rorschach would. But to be fair, Rorschach's hat does fall off during the more intensive fight scenes, during the comics and the movie, so I applaud the thoughtfulness. We know he did well in boxing from his arrest file, but no more information is given, so I'm kinda just talking out of my ass when it comes to what type of boxer I think he is. But I'd have to go with a slugger. And yes, I have been showing footage of Rorschach fighting in the tie-in game, The End Is Nigh, but I mean, look at this.
This person doesn't know what the hell he's doing!
Second, the vision is kinda blurry. I don't know what I expected when I threw white cloth over my face, but hold your breath, it makes it slightly harder to see. Apart from that, I don't have any issues with throwing punches, so I have no notes or issues with it, for now. You know, with this being said, it's important to remember that Rorschach is a creative man that uses his brain a lot in fights. From makeshift flamethrowers, batons stolen from the police, hot oil, cleavers. Another important aspect of Rorschach is his mobility. Not just in fights, he displays a lot of energy in his, hold on, let me check. 5'6" frame. Regardless, he shows basic understanding in parkour and gymnastics, and is able to perform it well, but for my purposes, I'm confused on how this man was able to climb and ascend a tall-ass building while it was raining. I'm on a bit of a budget, so I can't exactly pay a building owner and ask them pretty please if I can climb it for my video about a comic book character no one has cared about for at least 16 years. However, I can go to a Rockwall gym and see how difficult it is there. What the hell am I doing? No, but seriously, it's not too bad. I mean, the shoes aren't ideal and I found it the most annoying aspect, and the mask made it hard to differentiate colors. But none of that's really important. Also, it occurred to me there that Rorschach has a grappling hook and probably wouldn't have scaled its tower with just his hands. Oh well, I've already paid my cameraman. Another thing to mention, this outfit is hot as hell. I legitimately feel like I'm burning alive in this.
Stood in street, watched it burn. Imagined limbless felt torsos inside. Breasts blackening, bellies smoldering, bursting into flame one by one. Watched for an hour. Nobody got out.
Why, hello there. I was just drinking this cup with nothing in it, but I feel like you want to talk about mentally unstable men. Walter Kovacs. His strong sense of duty and inability to see more than what he calls right and wrong makes him a prime suspect for hard right-wing ideologies.
I told you, this month's issue still hasn't arrived yet. Why do you care about that right-wing rag so much? Those bastards don't give a damn about you, pal. Hold on.
Even to the point of referring to himself as a Nazi during the comic book run, and call a man as morally wrong as a comedian better than a majority of the members of the Watchmen. His violent nature comes from his mother's abuse, neglect, physical harm, verbal abuse, and seeing the several men she slept with, making him despise any form of prostitution, as well as gaining an early taste for violence, as even in his youth he attacks children who make fun of him. But it's nothing surprising. We know abuse leads to more abuse with the myriad of papers written on it. But he didn't start killing till he found a lost girl, age 6, in the stomachs of German shepherds. Despite the man he is, he still had some standards, but any sympathy for the criminals he took down faded away as he dehumanized them, only referring to them as filth. Rorschach can best be described as a child that eventually turned into a man that only held his convictions as true. His violence and anger eventually built and turned into the character Rorschach, a being that wasn't bound by any rule but his own. Finally, he had a way to fight back, to defend against the things that had troubled him his whole life. Yet even in this, he fails. He shows kindness to those he says he despises time and time again, the one thing he had built his self-worth on being a lie, something he says he hates others for. In the end, Rorschach is often seen breaking his own rules, while deluding himself into believing he's morally superior to everyone else. His inner conscience always at odds with the lines he's drawn, and becoming a hypocrite to his own ideas. But who knows? I'm not even licensed. In conclusion, Rorschach isn't that difficult of a character to attempt to be like. I mean, sure, I don't know why you'd want to be him outside of spooky season, but you could. Unfortunately for Rorschach, his depressive blue raspberry doesn't seem to like his ideas of never compromising.